Yeah, you actually had one in there today that made me think some page, Fit Girls or something, had grabbed a photo of you like bent over. Like, and so it, like kind of in this, I don't want to call it a movement, but like we're obviously in a place right now in CrossFit where we're looking at everything, like trying to figure out like what's appropriate, what's not appropriate, like, and I think that's a good thing, but nobody ever objectifies me. So I guess I'm just curious, like it obviously happens to you a lot. Like, how do you handle that? Like just the emotional aspect of it.
I mean, like, it's kind of like something where you just like learn to like let it roll, like just like it's out there, like it's whatever, it like really sucks, and there's only so much you can say, because that person actually like grabbed the video from my story, and of course there's like 1 second portion where my ass is all up in the camera, and they decide they're like, ooh, that's the one. Yeah, I was like, oh, okay. And like I'll say something, like I'll do like a snarky comment or something like that. And it's just like, it never gets you anywhere. So it's just like you gotta have to like just let it go, and people are gonna do that. It's gross and it's kind of whatever, and hopefully it just like doesn't like taint my brand. But right. People are just gonna like keep doing that, and like it sucks. But even though we're trying to like say like, in CrossFit right now, we're trying to mainstream everything and equality, and we just got rid of this guy being like totally like sexist and like gross, but sex sells, and like it's just like on Instagram as well, and so like it's like I know it's gonna keep happening, so I can't waste like emotion on that. I'd much rather just focus on like more important things. Yeah, right. So just gotta like let it go. Sucks, but it's gonna happen.
What about you, Alec? I mean, obviously you don't care because you never wear a shirt. Is there?
That doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt when people like are like rude or nasty or whatever.
It definitely took time for me not to care as much. Like the first few years, I was like so sensitive towards anything anyone said to me. Mm-hmm. But now it's like I rarely ever respond to like negative comments, or like when people tell me to do something. Most of the time, I'll just like block them. But there are moments where I'm just like having a day, and then I'll decide to like respond to somebody and just like tear them apart. Just like every once in a while, but every time they respond, it's like nothing ever happens. There's just like no point. It's just like back and forth and back and forth. Like you never like settle anything when you respond to people. But yeah, I just like learned to kind of ignore it, and just like took time for me, and I'm sure it'll take time for other people too. But yeah, people can be mean.
Yeah. I feel like they're exceptionally mean right now because of COVID.
Yeah,
they have nothing else to do. And I do, like Alex said, I have those days where it's just like everything happens. Like you spill your coffee on the way to the gym, car, and like I mean, like like that kind of morning where it's just like together after the other, and then like it's one of those mornings, and you're like,
just puts you over the edge.
Yeah, you're just like warming up, and you're just like doing your own thing, and then you see one comment, and you're just like, okay, here we go. And of course, it gets taken out of context and like all of a sudden, like people are like, you didn't have to go off like that. You didn't have to worry, and you're like, oh, but I did. I really, really did. And it always like I like look back on it like at night, and I'm like, it didn't have to do him like that. But then like in the moment, I'm like, I'm gonna destroy him.
Yes, no, you absolutely did. I think that people forget, like, because you guys you're celebrities, and you're like athletes that people really look up to and put on a pedestal of sorts. And I think that people forget that like one of the cool / also kind of like weird and different and sometimes scary things about like living in this day and age is like you are in fact real humans on the other end of those messages. And like I think people forget, or they think that like some agent has your phone constantly like posting pictures of you on your Instagram. Like we forget that we have this really cool accessibility and like intimacy with sort of famous people these days, where you can like find them on Instagram and you can watch their videos on TikTok and get like a real sense of who they are on podcasts and interviews, like all this shit. But there's like, they are still humans on the other end of these things. And it's like, it's hard for people to remember sometimes. They just think like, oh, I'm just going to be this keyboard warrior, post whatever the hell I want. And like, just completely ignore the fact that there's a human on the other end of that who like sees it, who might respond, you know?
I've started trolling those assholes though.
Good.
It makes my life fun. I snagged one of Danny's posts the other day. You posted it. The red letter said "I'm period out period," and so I snagged it, and in tiny little red letters in the bottom corner, I put a vodka, and I posted it. Yeah, I said out a vodka. Someone bring me some. Tiny little letters, you know, and because I knew the jackasses wouldn't, you know, blow up the photo and see it. They would just think like I was another, you know, athlete saying I was dropping out of the CrossFit Games. And sure as shit, man, people started blowing me up in the DMs and in the comments about what a jerk I was, and you know how I shouldn't be judging Glassman on one tweet. And I'm like, it was just great.